Hi friends, I'm Jarvis from the Warhammer podcast, and welcome to this new episode. Good news, I finally got a new laptop. It's here. No more cringy phone videos. You won't have to see my ugly face ever again. And this time, I won't talk like my Prime Minister. So, without out of the way, let's get into this new episode. And this is a very different one, as this is going unscripted, as you might tell. I want to try to do one video where it's unscripted, be less forced, and feel more natural to me. So let's see how this goes. And for today's episode, I want to tell you guys about one of my not so greatest experience in the Warhammer hobby. And this is around, like, say, 4 or 5 years ago, when it was, I believe, 7th edition, or somewhere around maybe 6. It was 6th edition. This happened at. Where I lived, there used to be this game store where you could collect things like World War II miniatures and other type of tabletop games, but also they sold Warhammer 40k stuff. And that's where I got into the hobby, or where I got my materials to start off. That's where I got my codex, that's where I got my rulebook, and that was the very first store where I started my first ever game. And there's a story behind all of this. Let's go back weeks before I decided to buy my first codex. And when I walked into the store, there was the manager. He was the lone guy. He was painting his miniatures on a table in the middle of the room. And this is a small shop, mind you. And he wasn't wearing any pants. He had like his coat wrapped around his legs, like a kilt, you could say. And this guy looked like he was around maybe 50, maybe somewhere late 50s, and yeah, that was kind of weird, especially for a guy that was like in grade 10 or 11. So I was looking around the store, making small talk with this guy, and when I asked him questions about the hobby, he would try to do jokes too, but he would sometimes even yell to, you could say, make the joke more funnier. But I was like, whoa, dude, calm down. But that didn't taint me into not getting my stuff. So a few months later, I decided to go there with my first 5 miniatures to play a game. And this was between two people. Well, between me and this one guy versus the manager. The manager had an army of orcs, while me and the guy had a small squad of space marines. And at first, I really liked the hobby. It was pretty fun for my first game. But what kind of made it weird was that every 5 minutes, the guys would take a break. The one guy beside me would take cigarette breaks, and I would just wait in the middle of the store wondering, okay, what do I do now? And especially near the end of the game, his parents came by, the guy I was playing with. Yeah, his mom came in and was like, honey, do you want us to pick you up? And he was like, Ma, go away. And that kind of made things a little awkward, so. But by the end of the story, my Space Marines lost. We got killed by the orcs, but we could have won if I retreated or moved back a bit and made long distance shooting. But I wouldn't say that didn't make me stop playing the game, because I haven't played the game around 4 years afterwards. And that was because either I just didn't want to reread the rules again, or simply because I didn't want to go back to that weird store. And this was before I actually had a driver's license, and I had to walk everywhere. So, yeah, that was one of my weird experiences with the hobby. Sometimes there's one of those days where you go to, say, a D&D match, there's always that one guy that's make things weird for you and your team. So, yeah, that's my story. How about you guys? What was your weird Warhammer experience? Was it something like me? Or was it something else entirely? Leave your story in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and I'll see you again soon.